All right, today we are using the distributive property, which is just, there's some more complexity to it, but basically we're going to break apart numbers, which is my favorite thing to do. If I get a complicated number that I don't know how to do multiplication with, I'm going to break it apart and make it smaller. Let me give you an example. For instance, if I had 8 times 7. Now some of you are going, 8 times 7, I can do that in my head. I know my facts. But a lot of you are saying, I don't know my facts. I don't know what 8 times 7 is. So what I'm going to do, I can't do 8 times 7. But I bet I could do 8 times 5. And I bet I could do 8 times 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break that 7 into 2 separate parts. 5 plus 2. Because I know 8 times 5 is 40, and I know 8 times 2 is 16. So I'm actually going to split that into 2 problems. I'm going to do 8 times 5, and like I said just a second ago, is, need a pen. Not a black pen. 40. I'm going to bring down this plus sign, and I know 8 times 2 is 16. And if you don't know that fact, that's okay. You could do 8 times 1 and 8 times 1, and then add them together. And then 40 plus 16, I know, is 56. And those of you that knew your facts knew that 8 times 7 is 56. So this was a simple one. I'm going to get a little harder. Let's look. Look at that. It's 7 times 8. See a pattern. It's the same thing. 8 times 7, 7 times 8, it's the same thing. We're just flipping it. We're going to flip, let's do 8, and instead of do 8, we're going to do 5 plus 3. Because I know I can do 7 times 5. I think I can do 7 times 3. Let's see. So I'm going to split it into 2 parts. I'm going to do 7 times 5 first, and I think that is 35. And I'm going to do 7 times 3. Some of you may have to count on your fingers, but we could figure it out that that is 21. We're going to take 35 plus 21 equals 56. The same answer as before. We just flipped them. Remember, with multiplication and addition, it doesn't matter which order we do it. We're going to get the same answer. So when we did 8 times 7 and 7 times 8, it's the same thing. 5 times 14. Ooh, okay. So 5 times 14, kind of tricky. It would take me a while to figure it out. But I'm going to break 14 into parts. I'm going to say, well, what if I do 10 plus 4? Because for me, I can do 5 times 10 pretty easy, especially if we do our pattern that we learned a couple of videos ago. And if I do 5 times 4, most of you are good at that and get 20. If you're not, that's okay. We're getting better. 50 plus 20 equals 70. Look at that. Look how quick we were able to get that answer. Just because we were able to break numbers into smaller pieces. That's really what I want you to get from this video. You can break things apart and make them so much easier for yourself. Some of you could do the 5 times 14 way up here. You're like, I got this. I don't need to break it apart. But the rest of us, we may need to break it apart. And that is perfectly okay. This is how, when you ask me to multiply something, I can do it so quickly. I break my numbers apart. How about 6 times 23? Ooh, that's a hard one. Okay, if I had to do that, it'd be like, oh, that's going to take me a second. So I'm going to break it into 2 pieces. I'm going to do 20 plus 3. Because I think I can do 6 times 20. Because I know 6 times 2 is 12. So 6 times 20 must be 120. I'm going to bring down that plus sign. 6 times 3, I know it's 18, but if you didn't, 6 times 2 is 12, and then you just add 6 more. And then I'm going to put those together. 120 plus 18, I think, double check my math, 138. Look how quick we did that. That was less than 30 seconds. We solved it in less than 30 seconds. You are a genius at multiplication already. That is it. That's all the examples I'm going to give you. We are going to practice breaking apart numbers left and right because it's going to make you so fast at multiplying. Look how we didn't even have to write down that much. It was so quick. All right, let's practice in class. Thanks for listening.